right. Welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. I'm that other dude, Andrew, and today, as always, I'm joined by Heather. And today we are going to be talking about a band that was a selection from me. This was a bit of an audible because I think we had someone else slated for this weekend, but as is my method, if I find a band that immediately strikes my fancy, I like the cut of their jib, so to speak, I'll call an audible. So the band in question is called PondDigger, and I don't know which YouTube channel had them, but it was in the algorithm suggested them for me, and I took one look at the album art, and I was like, yeah, we're definitely listening to them next. I am not even going to have to listen to their music to know I'm going to listen to them next. And they are from Broadhead, Kentucky, and their self-titled album PondDigger was released earlier this month. So
Yeah, February 9th.
I think this is the first album from 2024 that we're listening to, perhaps. So, what did you think of PondDigger from Broadhead, Kentucky?
Well, I saw a comment on YouTube and it said, a bong solo, how edgy. That's never been done before. I wonder if these guys smoke weed. And Pond Digger replied, we don't. We're actively against it. Meanwhile, their cover art is a field of marijuana. And I'm just like, bravo, boys, that's the way. That is the way. And their Instagram handle is PondDigger420, so if that tells you. I also gathered from other replies to the comments that they have CDs and tapes that are coming. And Black Sabbath and Alice in Chains are some of their influences, which is pretty cool because both those bands are really high up on my list, that's for sure. I think this is a relatively new band that you've unearthed. A lot of bands I talk about are, bands that I've been following for a while, and maybe they have a new record coming out, which kind of puts them on my radar again. So those are the bands that I typically tend to talk about, whereas I think you're really good at unearthing these new up and coming bands. And I think this is definitely one of them. Uh, you know, and have we ever talked about a band from Kentucky before?
I don't think so.
Because I couldn't recall. I can't think of any bands from Kentucky that we've talked about before. So this might be the first.
I
Oh,
I know we've done like Tennessee before.
uh-huh.
I can't think of anything else in this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a Florida band here and there, probably Georgia, but I can't think of Kentucky.
Yeah, me either. Me either. So I really like the effect that they have, like on the vocals and guitar. It gives it a psychedelic, you know, there's like a psychedelic feel to it. The guitars are down tuned and fuzzy. It's like fuzz drenched psych doom. It has a lot of atmosphere, and some of the guitar reminded me of the bluesy 70s styles, 70s style rock music. My favorite song on the album is Old One, and I also really like the song Green Queen, but Old One, I liked it just a little bit more. I really like the range on the vocals and the doom elements of the song. I also like how it ends with a single tap on the cymbal. Another cool band to add to your playlist, all of your playlists, and I think definitely get on the ground floor for this band. And what did you think?
Well, it's interesting because as I've mentioned, I saw the album art and I thought, okay, this is going to be right in the wheelhouse of what they're attempting to do. I didn't, I hadn't listened to the music yet, but I realized Stoner Doom is going to be right in the sweet spot. Um, and then I started listening to the music, and the blueprint for Stoner Doom is there, but I do like how they take it in a different. They do add some psychedelic elements to it. Um, and I've been trying to rack my brain about who the delivery of the singer reminds me of, and I can't for the life of me. It's like on the tip of my tongue, and then I think about it more, and I'm like, no, that's not it. But as soon as I heard the vocals, I was like, this reminds me of someone specific. Um, so yeah, they do a lot of really cool universal stoner doom stuff in terms of the riffs and the sound, but they definitely do add some things that make it stand out. And I thought it was a great self-titled uh, album that would surprise me at every trail. There'd be like vocal harmonies, and which I guess if they're fans of Alice in Chains, that's not surprising. But I kept thinking going into it that this was going to be a more simple presentation of Stoner Doom, and it turned out to be much more complex than I had thought, just in terms of the layers. So it's definitely an album that hits right in the sweet spot of Stoner Doom. They have all of the hallmarks that you would expect, but there are going to be some unique things to it. And they do have, it's funny you had mentioned about the reply to the bong solo. Um, you know, they do have one of the songs is titled Green Queen, which, the subtext isn't lost there. But they also seem like they're willing to be a little ironic, which I appreciated. Um, so yeah, I would say check out PondDigger. Get in on the ground floor. This is their. They've released a few singles up till now of songs that are on this album, but the self-titled album just came out a couple of weeks ago. I'm really like that's always a real win for us. I feel like when we can not discover a band, but like find a band to listen to who's at the beginning of their journey and then champion their music and try to get them out to as many people as possible. Um, I feel like they are going to go places, with the music that I'm really interested in listening to. They've won me over with what they've got so far. Um, I will be in the pond with the rest of them. That sound
Yeah,
splash you hear is me and Heather jumping into the pond.
yeah, yeah. And they don't have, because I went and looked at their Instagram, and they just they didn't start posting, like their Instagram page isn't that old either. Like they just started posting a little while ago. So led me to believe, I mean, they may have been a band longer, but that led me to believe that they're relatively new and they're just getting themselves out there. And it's kind of fun, listening to newer bands and trying to get more people on board with listening to them too.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I always find it amazing how, with a lot of contemporary bands, you can sort of trace them back to, like a lot of people are going to suggest, well, we love Black Sabbath, we love Blue Cheer, we love Deep Purple, we love these bands, but they take that blueprint that those bands constructed and then they make something their own from it. So really, like, if you're a fan of this music, then I would say go check out PondDigger, especially since they're making new music too. You can go see them, you can check them out, you could get in on the ground floor. That would be my. And I'm going to figure out who the singer reminds me of. I'll be
Yeah.
up at 4 o'clock in the morning tonight, and you may get a text from me finally figuring it out or pulling my hair out. So we'll see.
Yeah. Are you thinking an older band or a newer band?
I don't see. I don't know. Like I know if I hear it, I'll know who it is. I think I want to say it's a European band or singer. Um, I'll have to go back and listen again a couple more times.
Yeah.
I want to say it's something like Cathedral, but it's not Cathedral. I feel like it's one of those types of things. But I mean, it is a unique vocal delivery. I'm not sure if it's made more so by an effect. You had mentioned there is psychedelic effects on the vocals and guitar, so
Mhm.
we'll see. I mean, I mean, if anyone has the time and inclination to go down the YouTube rabbit hole to figure out what this reminds me of, it's me. Whether or not whether or not I'll prepare for clients with less enthusiasm, or my mother, who I'm taking care of, may need to wait a few minutes longer to get medication. I'm going to find out what this reminds me of. I'm kidding. Clearly, I'm kidding about all that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
For those of you out there that's like, that's a scumbag, dude. That's not a cool move.
No. No, I assure you that Andrew is one of the nicest people ever.
Like, I mean, this is my version of a bong solo. We don't support, you know, illegal,
Right.
habitual illegal drug use.
Right. We're actively against it.
Actively against, yes, but I'm the singer does the delivery and the pitch remind me of someone specific, and it's going to keep me up tonight if I can't figure it out. So I will figure
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And I was kind of surprised about, the effect the the effect that's on the vocals to make them sound a certain way. I was kind of surprised of the vocal range, even though it has an effect on it, that there still is quite a vocal range, and I wasn't expecting that at all. So there's actually there's a lot more to the vocals than when you first start listening to it and you first think about it. And the more that you go on throughout the record, you can tell that there's a lot more going on with the vocals.
Yeah, well, it's one of the going into it, I had assumed like, okay, this is going to be your basic Doom chord progressions, and it's going to just go from the playbook, a fill in the blank type thing, and it wasn't that at all. They really made it their own, um, brought it in directions I wouldn't have suspected, necessarily, but it really wowed me. It was one of those things where I knew going into it from the album art and the genre tags that it was going to be something worthwhile, but it surpassed my expectations.
Yeah, I liked it more as it went on too, you
Yeah.
know.
So
Yeah.
listen to the whole album. Go out, get PondDigger, self-titled. It released a couple weeks ago. It's on
Yeah.
Bandcamp, and
Yeah.
definitely worth it.
Yeah. And it's on YouTube. I found it on YouTube as well. And and I can't remember what channel it was on, but the full album is on YouTube also.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's going to do it for me, and I would imagine, unless you have anything else.
No, I can't think of anything.
Well, we'll be back next week with episode 107, and we
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you all then.
Well, actually, not next week, but the week after.
Yes, the week
Yes.
after. Thank you.
Yeah, because next week we're not going to record next Sunday, but we will the following Sunday.
Yes.
So,
So
yeah.
we will see you all then.